Hello, my name is Benjamin Hart. I'm an American attorney and the managing director of Integrity Legal here in Bangkok, Thailand. As the title of this video suggests, we're discussing yet again this so-called beach bully case. And, I want to be clear, I'm sure that this person is going through some pretty difficult tribulations at this point. And, this moniker has basically just sort of been applied, this beach bully notion, but we're sort of using it just to explain what these videos are about for people who may not be interested in this case. They may not want to watch, or they may not care to keep up with it. So we're going to sort of use that term because that's what the press basically has been sort of using. I sort of get that this person's going through a lot. I'm not really meaning to pile on by making these videos, but long story short, they can provide teaching moments, if you will, regarding Thai immigration, and I do think that's rather useful. Quoting directly from a recent article, reason I thought of making this video, I was reading in the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. Article is titled, Anutin Rules Out Fair's Visa Appeal. Interior Minister Anutin Chanvirakul said that he would not consider any appeal made by a Swiss man whose visa was revoked for allegedly kicking a doctor in Phuket. Quoting further in a direct quote, does anyone not want to see his visa revoked? Not this Interior Minister, Mr. Anutin said during a visit to Sisaket yesterday. Police Major General Songprot had said he will be allowed, he being the accused in this case, he will be allowed to stay in Thailand on bail to defend his case in court. However, Mr. Anutin said the court case will not be used as an excuse for Mr. Fair to regain his business visa. Quote, the court case can continue, unquote, he said, quote, it has nothing to do with the visa issue, unquote. So a lot going on in there. And also, I think it's worthy for purposes in this video to point out another article, again in the Bangkok Post, bangkokpost.com. Hats off, really, very much so, to the Bangkok Post for their coverage on this. They've been really keeping detailed track. I urge those watching this video, go check out both of those articles in detail if you're interested in this case. Quote, kicking, unquote, Swiss man in Phuket loses visa. Quoting directly, the Immigration Bureau has revoked the business visa of a Swiss man who allegedly kicked a Thai woman relaxing on a beach near his villa in Phuket, deeming him a threat to society. The behavior of Mr. Fair, reported by the Phuket governor and the commander of the Phuket Immigration Police, was deemed a threat to social peace. Police Colonel Parinya said Phuket Immigration Police should detain him, but he may seek a temporary release to defend himself in the physical assault case, said the spokesman, and that was a spokesman for the Thai Immigration Office. Long story short, there's two things going on here. There's the criminal case, which, again, the press has been keeping close tabs on, and then there's the immigration matter. Immigration matters are not necessarily connected to police matters directly. There could be a correlation, but long story short, the Interior Minister has said, regardless of what's going on over with the criminal case, that this person is not going to be getting a visa. And that is a keen difference to point out, that it's kind of a fine point in terms of understanding sort of Thai bureaucracy and the jurisdiction of, for example, the police force versus Immigration Bureau versus Interior Ministry, which is, at the end of the day, tasked with issuing visas here in Thailand. Again, these are subtle differences, but they can have tremendous ramifications. So again, the court case being one thing, the criminal proceeding, and then immigration status being another. Somewhat akin to there being, I remember years back when I first basically left the United States, it became common practice for defense attorneys in American criminal proceedings to need to be able to provide some level of advice regarding the immigration implications of certain pleadings, etc., pleading guilty, for example, in an American criminal context, because it could have immigration ramifications, and the two bodies of law are not the same. In this case, the two adjudicatory powers, if you will, between the judiciary dealing with criminal matters here in Thailand and then the Interior Minister himself, who at the end of the day is ultimately responsible for immigration matters in Thailand. Specifically, the Interior Minister does, or ministry I should say, does oversee visa issuance and visa maintenance in Thailand. Different thing. different thing you're dealing with. You're dealing with the court in one proceeding, you're dealing with immigration in another proceeding, and immigration has made it clear, it would seem, or the authorities, or the one major authority, or only authority when you really get to the top, I guess you could say, of the Interior Ministry, has said, yeah, look, we're not going to be issuing visas in this person's case in the future, presumably based on, you know, their, not only their discretion, but also based on the fact that, you know, based on their observations of what's occurred here. You know, again, as we've discussed, you know, I hesitate to comment on my own opinion because I don't actually know what transpired here. That presumably is the job of some adjudicator to basically interpret, make findings of facts and conclusions of law in the matter. Until such time as I see something to that effect, you know, I'm going to reserve my own personal judgment. But that said, immigration here in Thailand has a different, obviously a different mandate, and they're, you know, they have to, at the end of the day, make their own adjudications whether or not foreign nationals should be permitted to remain in the Kingdom of Thailand.